Alright, so in the last lecture we finished working on left and right arrows. They are already programmed and working perfectly. As I promised, now we have to move on and make play pause button working. So using this button we will be able to run slideshow automatically and then pause it. Alright, let's get started. First of all, I'm going to select element and attach to it click event. So right here, document, dot query selector, insert here class name, play pause, then attach event listener with click event and also with arrow function. Alright, let's test again in console if click event works properly. Actually, I recommend to test always such things because it's a good habit. Let's run in console, clicked. Let's inspect the page and switch console tab, click button, and you see that it works. We have clicked in console. Alright, in order to make this button working, we need to create new function. Let's call it play pause and assign to it arrow function. So in order to run slideshow automatically, we need to use JavaScript built-in function setInterval, which allows us to execute function over and over again with some intervals. Actually, you have already seen this function in one of our projects. So write setInterval. As a first parameter, we need to insert here function, which will manage rotating of cube. Let's write here arrow function. So by default, when slideshow plays automatically, cube should be rotated from right to left side. So in this case, we need to decrease value of x variable by 90 degrees. Write x minus equals to 90. Then in order to rotate cube, we just need to call here rotate function. As a second parameter, we need to insert time of intervals in milliseconds. I want to change slides in every 3 seconds. So let's write here 3000 milliseconds. And the last thing that we have to do is to call this function. So let's write here down below play pause. Let's click, then wait for 3 seconds. And you see that slideshow is running automatically. Alright. Next thing is to pause slideshow when we click again on icon, and also we need to change it from play into pause button. In order to do that, we need to create a couple of variables, and also we need to use if-else conditional statement. Actually, we're going to manipulate on by Boolean values, I mean true and false. So let's create new variable. Let's write it here to avoid using let keyword over and over again. Call this variable bool, and by default make it false. So now we need to create if statement in which as a condition we need to insert variable bool. By default Boolean is set as false, but in this case we need it to be true, and in order to make it true we can use not operator, which is expressed by exclamation mark. So here we say that we have as a condition true value. Now as a statement we need to insert setInterval function. So let's grab it and paste it here. Let's click. And you see that we have same result. Slideshow is running automatically, but on second click it's still not pausing. In order to do that, we need else statement, in which we have to terminate setInterval function. For that we will use another JavaScript built-in method, which is called clearInterval. Before we do that, I'm going to create new variable which will store this entire setInterval method. Let's call it interval. Then inside if statement, write this variable and assign to it setInterval function. So in order to make else statement working on second click, we need to make condition of if statement false, and for that we have to change value of bool variable and make it true. So write bool equals to true. Then inside else statement, use method called clearInterval, and as an argument, insert here interval. And also, in order to run slideshow again on third click, we have to make bool variable again false. So write bool equals to false. Actually, I'm going to go to browser and test how those things work, but in order to avoid waiting for 3 seconds on each click, let's change 3 seconds into 1 second for a while. Click the button. So as you see, it works. If we click again, slideshow will be stopped, and on next click it will run again. So everything works fine so far. As we said, we need to change button from play into pause. For that we have to create another new function. Let's call it change play pause. Again, use here arrow function. In order to change icon on click, first of all we need to select I element, which is placed inside div element. It has class name play pause. So create new variable, call it I, and select I element, write document dot query selector, then insert here class name of div element play pause, and then I element. So in order to change icon from play to pause, we need to use another font awesome icon. Play button has class name fa-play. Pause font awesome icon has class name fa-pause. So we need to get access on class name of play button, and then on click change it into class name of pause button. So let's create another variable. Let's call it class, and I'm going to write it in this way. So in order to access on class name, I'm going to use property called class list, which actually returns all the class names that element does have. Let's see what I'm talking about. Assign to this variable i.classList. Then run this variable in console. Write console.log. Insert here variable name. And also we need to call this function. Let's write it down below. Let's click button, and you can see that we have here DOM token list, which actually is an array-like object. If we drop down it, you will find all the classes that iElement has, and if you take a closer look, you will find that those classes have 0 based index numbers. Actually, in this case, we need to access on second class name. I mean on fa-play. It has index number 1. So we need to indicate it here inside square brackets. If we click again, then in console we will get class name fa-play. Alright, great. Everything is ready to change icons. We just need to use if-else statement. As a condition, we need to write class triple equals to fa-play. So if this condition is true, then we need to change icon. For that we need to remove current class, I mean fa-play, and add to class list class fa-pause. For that we have to write i.classList. In order to remove class name, we need to use method called remove. And as an argument, we need to set class name, which we want to be removed. In this case, fa-play. Besides that, as we said, we need to add another class to element. So let's duplicate this line, then change method name, write here add instead of remove, and change class name. We need here fa-pause. So in this case, if play button is displayed, then it will be changed by pause button. But then on next click, we need to change pause button into play icon. For that we have to use else statement. Then let's grab those two lines, paste them here, and change class names. We need to remove fa-pause, and we need to add fa-play. Alright, so function is ready, we need to execute it. For that we have to call it inside if statement. Also, we need to call it in else statement as well. Right, change play pause. And lastly, get rid of function call from here. Alright, let's click button. So you see that icon is changed, slideshow runs automatically, then on next click, play icon is displayed back and cube stops rotating. Okay, the only thing that we have to do is the following. So if slideshow runs automatically and then we click arrows, then besides automate slideshow, it runs manually as well. And actually, it doesn't look good. So if we click arrows, then automate slideshow should be stopped if it runs. For that we have to use if statements, which will check if slideshow is running automatically or not. So let's create if statement. In order to check if slideshow runs, we can use bool variable. If bool variable is true, it means that slideshow is playing in automate mode. And in this case, we need to stop it. For that, we have to call play pause function. So again, if bool variable is true, then it means that slideshow is running automatically. This condition will be true and play pause function will be executed. But if the value of bool variable is set as false, it means that slideshow is not running automatically, then condition is false and play pause function won't be executed. Make sense? Alright, we need same if statement for right arrow as well, so let's copy it and paste it here. Let's test how those things work. Click for a couple of times. So you see that everything works perfectly. If slideshow runs automatically and we click arrows, then it stops automate mode and runs only manually. And actually this is much better user experience. Alright, that's it, everything works fine. Let's change time of interval back, make it 3 seconds. So we have finished working on that project. I hope it was interesting and helpful because we used here lots of advanced CSS stuff with some JavaScript. Actually, I would like to say that when I started learning 3 core technologies of front-end web development, I mean HTML, CSS and JavaScript, I always wanted to practice in them using building such little projects because it's really useful and helps to develop your skills. So that was main reason why we decided to create this kind of course. I hope you enjoyed it and learned lots of cool things. In the near future, other interesting courses and projects are coming, so stay tuned, keep learning and wish you all the best. Bye bye.